Major debate over a First Amendment rights issue heating up in San Antonio as the city council considers a controversial measure that critics say challenges freedom of speech and religion. A rule could block the hiring of anyone who speaks out against homosexuality because of their moral or religious beliefs, and that includes Christian business owners. Let's talk about it. Bernard Whitman is a Democratic strategist and former Clinton pollster, Bill Clinton. David Webb is the host of the David Webb Show on Sirius XM Patriot. Welcome to you both.
Good to see you, Shannon.
All right, so this is under consideration. There was a draft ordinance. There have been a couple different versions, but basically it said you couldn't do business with the city or be employed by the city or serve on a municipal board if you, and it says, if in word or deed that you've spoken out on any of a number of different things, including sexual orientation, gender identity. And Bernard, there are a lot of people who are worried that, you know, if you happen to be of a religious background, and there are many that don't approve of homosexuality, you're out of luck.
This ordinance is about protecting gay people from discrimination, not about discriminating against Christians. And people can believe what they want to believe, but that bias, if they have it, should not be extended to the force of government, to the force of law. And just because you feel that homosexuality is wrong for whatever reason does not give you the right to discriminate against people in the public square. And frankly, my message would be, when are people of faith going to stop using religion to attack, demean, and divide the country? Did not people listen to what the Pope said just a few days ago?
Well,
who am I to judge?
What if they're not trying to attack anyone, but they're just saying, for me personally, it's not something that is okay with my faith. I'm not going to talk about it at work. I'm not going to say anything. But if it comes up, I'm also not going to approve of it. I mean, the policy also says they won't discriminate against someone on the basis of religion, but there are those who are arguing that's what this would do.
In fact, it is. And it's not, by the way, people of faith alone who may have this feeling, whether they do or not. Bernard talks about bias. Well, having a belief does not mean that you exhibit bias actively. So one does not necessarily lead to the other. And the fact is, we have First Amendment rights in this country, and nowhere in this ordinance is there equal protection of First Amendment rights. You have a right to believe the way you believe in America under the Constitution. You also do under the Texas Religious Freedom Act. So you have a state constitution and a United States constitutional issue. This is not about, this is a broader anti-religion effort done by many groups who want to paint religion as this abject enemy of everything that's fair. And look, whether you're religious or not, I believe in fair and equal treatment of everyone. That's what we do. When I look into the cases that should exist, the pervasive evidence in San Antonio that should lead to this, you somehow can't find a pervasive number of cases. There have been a few allegations here and there, but nothing even gone through the court system. So let's look at it for what it is. This is an effort to restrict one person's freedom under the guise of equal treatment.
And Bernard, what if they would change? If they would take out that phrase saying that if you in word or deed have acted against the interest of somebody who does approve of homosexuality, if you took out word, I mean, if you took out the First Amendment issue, if somebody has actively carried out a deed that was in some way biased or hurtful, as you mentioned, divisive, that's different than word. I mean, the First Amendment is such a valued amendment. It's the first one. I mean, what if you took out the word word?
I think it's fair to get clarification on that, but I have to address David's point. This is not about religion at all. It doesn't even mention religion, David. How can you say that this is an attack on religion? It's fundamentally not. It is no different than what they have done currently in San Antonio and many other cities, which is to prohibit discrimination based on race, color, gender, and frankly, it's no different than where we were 50 years ago when, David, you couldn't marry the person you wanted to, sit where you wanted to on the bus, drink out of the window water.
Civil rights argument on this, man.
It is a civil right.
No,
why should people in San Antonio be allowed to discriminate against me in the same way they discriminated against you 50 and 60 years ago? Yes, they are. There are no legal protections for gays and lesbians in San Antonio.
Well, okay, but if we took it down to an issue of deed, of actions, I mean, not just words, if people want to express their own personal belief, then does it then turn into religious discrimination?
Not
if you're saying
of the government, they should not be allowed to
Muslim,
do that.
if I'm Christian, if I'm whatever, if I'm of a faith tradition that doesn't approve of this, I'm not going to take any discriminatory action against you. But if I even said a word against it, saying it doesn't jibe with what I believe, then I'm in trouble and I can't work for San Antonio.
Let's go to the Catholic churches in San Antonio, and I've spent a lot of time in this city. Hispanic population, heavily Catholic. The Catholic Church has its belief and its doctrine, and it's allowed to. There's a big difference between claiming bias and saying that the thought police are going to come, and if you have a belief, you are not entitled to that belief. It is what we have in this country is freedom, and individual rights are protected. But they're not legislating bias here. They can't legislate against it. And we have an Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. We have laws on the books. We have civil redress. And if it's egregious enough, we have criminal redress against people who commit acts against someone based on bias or something
based on
else.
Sexual orientation. It's simply not true. It does not exist in San Antonio.
I don't care if you're homosexual or heterosexual. I don't care about your sex life, Bernard. But the problem is that the agenda being pushed here is that this supersedes the other, and that is fundamentally un-American.
And Bernard, I want to give the final word to you here.
You know, I think what we're talking about here is frankly saving people's lives. The discrimination that comes against gay people causes many kids to kill themselves, and we're talking about not just sort of inconvenience. We are fundamentally talking about being valued as an individual and treating everyone the same.
Suicide with the behavior
why do you
of
think suicide among gay teens is so high? Because they are taught that somehow they're inferior or less than or wrong. This addresses that.
That's a whole nother. Maybe we'll have you back. We'll have that debate. Gentlemen, good to see you both. Thank you for coming in for the discussion.